That was Blind Willie Johnson. After Francis's blues book was published, he received a confounding invitation to sell the book live on TV on the cable home shopping network QVC. Apparently one of the hosts was a fan. As I recall, Francis was sandwiched between fake emerald costume jewelry and the Road Whiz, an early kind of GPS that told you where the closest restaurants, gas stations, and bathrooms were. Let's just say the book did okay, but the Road Whiz did a whole lot better. As I mentioned, Francis was hospitalized after handing in the manuscript for the history of the blues. The essay he wrote after he got out of the hospital was titled Infection. It was a review of the original cast recording of the Stephen Sondheim and James Lapine musical Passion. The musical tells the story of an Italian soldier, Giorgio, who's forced to leave his beautiful, vibrant mistress, Clara, with whom he's deeply in love, after he receives orders that he's being transferred to a faraway garrison. His new commanding officer's sickly cousin, Fosca, falls in love with Giorgio and becomes obsessed with him. She lives in the world of the sick and marginalized, and he's healthy and strong and wants to get away from her. Francis and I loved the show. Here's an excerpt of his essay. Quote, "A few days after seeing Passion for the second time, I was hospitalized with a 104-degree temperature, a symptom of what was ultimately diagnosed as a serious bacterial infection. In a situation in which part of my role as a good patient was to monitor my moods and bodily functions and dutifully report even the slightest change, I no longer saw Fosca's morbid self-absorption as quite so absurd. Fosca's love for Giorgio is supposed to be superior to Clara's by virtue of not being carnal. At least that was what Sondheim and Lapine said in interviews. Regardless of Sondheim and Lapine's original intentions, the dichotomy represented on stage wasn't between body love and soul love, but between health and infirmity, the pang of happiness and the unaccountable lure of death." Unquote. Here's the song Francis singled out. It's sung by the character Fosca on what may be her deathbed. She tells Giorgio she wants to dictate a letter for him to write, but to write it as if he were writing it to her, confessing his deep feelings for her. The song is I Wish I Could Forget You, sung by Donna Murphy. Francis's essay about Passion was included in his book Bebop and Nothingness, Jazz and Pop at the End of the Century. The title is a play on Jean-Paul Sartre's book Being and Nothingness. Francis was great at coming up with titles. That book showed up in a confounding place, a Brooks Brothers ad, maybe a page from the catalog. The photo was of a 20-something guy with his hands folded around the back of his head, and on his lap, a copy of Francis's book, Bebop and Nothingness. The model was supposed to look dreamy, but I doubt he'd ever dream of reading that book. My theory is the book was chosen as a prop because the book jacket's eye-catching color scheme of blue, red, and yellow matched the model's sweater and plaid pants. We framed the ad, and it still hangs on our wall, baffling anyone who sees it. One of Francis's coinages also showed up in a surprising place. In a 1992 essay about the show Seinfeld, Francis described Kramer as a hipster doofus. Someone from the show must have read that, because the following year, hipster doofus showed up in a couple of Seinfeld episodes. Here's Kramer.
She dumped me. She dumped you? She dumped me. She rolled right over me. Said I was a hipster doofus. Am I a hipster doofus? No. Said I'm not good looking enough for her. Not good looking. Jerry, look at me.
After we take a short break, I'll conclude my tribute to Francis, and I'll feature my interview with George Clooney, who was just nominated for a Tony. He's on Broadway starring as journalist Edward R. Murrow in the stage adaptation of Clooney's 2005 film Good Night and Good Luck. Francis loved and was influenced by film noir, and he loved Charlie Hayden's ensemble Quartet West and how it often evoked film noir, like on this track, There in a Dream. I'm Terry Gross, and this is Fresh Air.
WHYY's Fresh Air and its commitment to sharing ideas and encouraging meaningful conversation. Support for NPR comes from this station and from the Joyce Foundation, committed to advancing racial equity and economic mobility for the next generation in the Great Lakes region.